She called the cops on my cousin for loitering while he watered my plants. Karen's reign of terror began with a smirk and ended with a neighborhood revolt. It started innocently enough. I'd moved to Willow Creek, a postcard-perfect suburb with tidy lawns and friendly waves, expecting peace. Instead, I got Karen. She lived 3 houses down, her pristine yard a shrine to her control-freak tendencies. Every week, she'd find a reason to storm over, her voice sharp as a knife, complaining about my visitors. My sister's loud laugh, disturbing the peace. My friend's old pickup truck, an eyesore. My niece's chalk drawings on the sidewalk, vandalism. At first, I laughed it off. Karen was just the neighborhood busybody, right? But her complaints escalated, each one more absurd, each one chipping away at my patience. I'm Jake, a graphic designer who works from home, and my house was a revolving door for friends and family. I loved hosting barbecues, game nights, or just coffee on the porch. It was my way of staying connected in a world that feels increasingly fractured. But Karen saw my open door as a personal affront. "This isn't a frat house, Jake," she'd snap, her arms crossed, her blonde bob swaying like a metronome of judgment. I'd apologize, keep the peace, but her eyes gleamed with something darker than annoyance. It was power. She thrived on it. The first real clash came in June. My best friend, Marcus, a black guy with a warm smile and a knack for storytelling, came over with his wife, Lena. They were helping me set up for a small cookout, nothing wild, just burgers and music. Karen appeared like a vulture circling a carcass. "You're blocking the street," she barked, pointing at Marcus's car, which was parked legally in front of my house. I explained it was temporary, but she wasn't listening. "I'm calling the HOA, she said, pulling out her phone. Marcus, ever calm, tried to reason with her, but she cut him off. "I know your type," she hissed, her words dripping with venom. Lena's face froze. I felt my blood boil. "Karen, back off," I said, stepping between them. She didn't flinch, just smirked and dialed. The HOA president, a tired retiree named Tom, showed up, took one look at the car, and told her to drop it. But Karen didn't stop. She started patrolling my street daily, notepad in hand, jotting down violations. My cousin's dog barked once. Animal control got a call. My niece left a toy on the lawn. Karen left a typed letter on my door, citing neighborhood standards. She even reported my elderly aunt for suspicious behavior because she sat on my porch too long. The police stopped coming after the third false alarm, but Karen's harassment didn't let up. By August, my visitors were on edge. Marcus stopped bringing Lena, saying it wasn't worth the drama. My sister canceled her weekly visits, tired of Karen's glares. My house, once a haven, felt like a prison. I tried talking to Karen, knocking on her door with a plate of cookies as a peace offering. She slammed the door in my face, shouting, "Keep your riffraff out of my neighborhood." That's when I realized this wasn't about rules. It was personal. Karen didn't just want control, she wanted to erase anyone who didn't fit her vision of perfect. The neighborhood was splitting. Some neighbors, like Tom, were fed up with her but stayed quiet to avoid her wrath. Others, mostly older folks she charmed with her fake smiles, backed her. "She's just keeping things orderly," they'd say. Orderly? She was tearing us apart. I started noticing the way she targeted certain people: Marcus, Lena, my Hispanic cousin, my queer friend Alex. It wasn't random. Her complaints always carried a whiff of prejudice, cloaked in community standards. I wasn't the only one suffering. Mrs. Patel, who ran a small daycare, got a visit from Child Services after Karen's anonymous tip about noise. The Garcia's teenage son was followed home by Karen, who claimed he looked Suspicious. The breaking point came in September. I'd invited a group of friends for a game night. Marcus, Lena, Alex, and my cousin Sophia. We were loud, sure, laughing over board games, but it was 8 p.m., not midnight. Karen stormed over, banging on my door so hard the frame shook. "This is unacceptable," she screamed, her face red, her phone already recording. "I'm calling the police." "Karen, it's a Saturday night," I said, trying to stay calm. "We're just playing games." "Your games are ruining this neighborhood," she spat, stepping closer, her finger jabbing at my chest. Marcus stepped out, asking her to leave. That's when she lost it. "You don't belong here," she shouted at him, her voice echoing down the street. Lena gasped. Alex started recording her back. Neighbors stepped onto their porches, drawn by the commotion. "Say that again," I said, my voice low, my fists clenched. Karen didn't back down. She doubled down, hurling insults at Marcus and Lena, words I won't repeat. The air felt thick, like a storm about to break. Sophia, usually shy, stepped forward. "You're the one who doesn't belong," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "You're tearing us apart." Something shifted. Neighbors who'd stayed silent started murmuring. Mrs. Patel appeared, her eyes blazing. "She reported my daycare for nothing." Mr. Garcia joined in, recounting how Karen had harassed his son. One by one, people spoke up, their voices rising like a tide. Karen's smirk faltered. She tried to interrupt, but Tom, the HOA president, stepped in. "Enough, Karen," he said. "This ends now." The next week, the neighborhood held an emergency HOA meeting. Karen wasn't invited, she'd been warned to stay away. We presented a petition, signed by 30 households, detailing her harassment. Stories poured out. False reports, racist comments, endless complaints. Even her allies stayed quiet, embarrassed. The vote was unanimous. Karen was banned from HOA events, community spaces, and any neighborhood leadership. Her reign was over, but the victory felt hollow. Karen didn't leave quietly. She put her house up for sale, but not before leaving a final letter in every mailbox, calling us ungrateful and disorderly. Some neighbors cheered her departure, but others, like me, felt a pang of sadness. Not for her, but for what we'd lost. Our community, once tight-knit, was bruised. Trust was frayed. I wondered if we'd ever heal. A month later, I saw the for sale sign on Karen's lawn replaced with a sold one. She was gone. My house felt like mine again, but the scars remained. Marcus and Lena came back, but their laughter was quieter. Sophia stopped drawing chalk art. The neighborhood was peaceful, but it wasn't the same. Karen's ban was justice, but it didn't erase the damage. It made me think, how do we stop the next Karen? How do we rebuild when someone's need for control tears us apart? I don't have the answers, but I'm hosting game night again next week. Maybe that's a start. What do you think? Where's the line between standing up for your community and becoming the very thing you're fighting against? How do we balance justice with healing?